Hey everybody, welcome to part 3 of our Kubota L4200 repair series at Bridger Creek Homestead. So I hope you can see me okay. I'm probably silhouetted on the background, but it is starting to get dark here. I put the battery in this tractor. If you've seen the last two of this series, you'll know that we did get this tractor to start on the very first try. The starter actually engaged. So I've got the battery set up to where I think it will. I had it started earlier, long enough to back it up probably 3 feet so that I could get to the valve stem, and I actually have this back left tire. If you remember, it was completely flat to the ground, and I have enough pressure in it to get up to the house. So that's what we're going to try today. See if it makes it. We're going on the road now. Almost past the point of no return as far as being able to stop and chain it or leave it. It's not going to be happy if it dies on this. Oh yeah. Check that gauge, make sure we're not going to overheat. We're reading past below E. Alright, so I started cleaning the cab of the tractor and noticed how bad the seat shifted. It shifted probably this much, no exaggeration. So I noticed one of these bolts, there's 4 bolts that hold this seat together, and one of them had this eye broke off and sort of was just dangling. So this needed to be welded. This took probably an hour to get apart. This was really not convenient. And you can tell it's been welded before. That's not a factory weld. But it wasn't welded very well, and it wasn't welded here. So clearly there's stress on this seat. A lot of bumps, a lot of weight on it all the time. So I can understand it being a failure point. But that's going to have to be welded before I put the seat back on. In the meantime, the seat's out, and I can go ahead and vacuum the rest of this crap up, and then I can get back to work on the ignition. Here we have lots of different panels, body panels and stuff. This is a louver for the side here, and this goes to our ROPS, and I'm pretty sure I haven't fit this yet, but this goes down here. So that'll fit in there somewhere, I think. Pretty sure. Anyway, that's where we're at now. Oh, I wanted to show this too. This was brought to my attention by one of the comments. Somebody else has a Kubota L4200. Theirs is, I think he said, a shuttle shift. Mine's a glide shift transmission. I don't actually need to use the clutch to go into any of these gears. I think it is recommended after 4th gear you use the clutch, but I know for a fact you don't actually need to. This lever, from what I'm told, isn't actually all that common. This is regular gears. This is turtle gears. So you throw it in this gear, and all of these 8 gears lower down. So 8th gear is lower than 1st gear of your rabbit mode. So that means you have 16 gears forward and 16 gears in reverse. And I'm telling you, 1st gear in turtle mode is crazy slow. You almost can't see it move, how slow it is. And I'll show you that as soon as we get this going again. I thought it was kind of neat though. But here you can see I'm replacing the hose on the overflow reservoir for the radiator, and installing new hose clamps. And I'm just doing this because the old hose was dry rotted. And here I'm taking off the front left hub on the Kubota. I think that there's going to be a bad bearing or something in there, but what I actually found was that there's an O-ring that goes up against a retainer on the inside of that, and that retainer had failed. So part of the actual hub on the outside itself, the part I'm taking the bolts off on right now, part of that had failed. So I was kind of at a loss on what to do, and what I ended up doing was using a RTV sealant that hardens, and hoping that it hardened and replace part of that retaining wall's seal. And then I put it back together. Here I'm showing you the oil's blue, so it needed replaced in the first place. And then I'll show you that the retainer failure point is what my issue was. And showing you that my O-ring itself was okay and the bearings are good. Okay, so I've just got the ignition replaced here. It's actually a little small, so what I need is a little spacer to go in here, or a grommet or something, to kind of seat it up against this. But it works. Okay guys, we have the left front hub back in place. It's been sealed with a sealant. We'll see how it lasts. I've got gear oil in the hub and the axle. I've got new hydraulic fluid in it. I've got fresh diesel, and we are going to use it on this post hole digger. This is a hydraulic post hole digger. I tried to use it on our little gas tractor, and it's just not got enough hydraulic oomph for the job. So I know this will do it because it used to. So what we're going to do, we are going to start drilling holes. I'm just going to make a couple test holes today, but in the next week, this is going to be transformed into blackberries. So we're buying pretty close to 200 mature blackberry plants, and I have to make that number of holes to accommodate. So that's what I'm going to be working on this week. I'm going to drill a couple of test holes, and then I'll start gridding. So obviously this tractor isn't done yet. I need to put panels back on. It needs a good wash. It still needs an oil change, but for all practical purposes, it's back in service. Well, so far putting this tractor back in service has so far been a pretty good success. I did have one hydraulic fluid leak at a fitting that I had to replace the fitting for, but that was a $3.50 part. Took about an hour to run to a local automotive shop and back. And it's been running this hydraulic auger here. That's a 12-inch auger on hydraulics. And it's been running it probably about 6 hours now. We've got 95 holes dug, about 100 more to go. I'm going to hit 200 and we'll call it good. But so far it's smoking. It's got some smoke coming out, which is indicative of the engine just getting tired. But it's been running really, really good and consistent, starting right up. It's not getting even remotely close to overheating, and it's got plenty of oomph. And I mean, listen to this thing. Just starts right up, and really sounds good, ready to work. I don't have any more leaking out of this front hub here, so far that seal is doing its job. Now you can see that smoke a little bit that's coming out, and that's not the best, but it's just doing a really good job otherwise of you know, doing its thing. Anyway, guys, I'm going to cut the video off here. There's still a lot more to do to this thing to get it kind of in restored order. But as far as doing work on the farm, if I need to use it, I can use it, which is kind of where I needed to be, because I knew we were going to have to do a few jobs like this that the old gas tractor just won't handle. Now, the gas tractor is still going to be my go-to, my Massey Ferguson 35, my Alice Chalmers WD. They're still the workhorses on the farm. This is sort of the cavalry for whenever I just got to have a little bit more weight, a little bit more power. I got to bring this out of retirement. So that's what I've got this here set up to do, and it's doing a great job so far. Like I say, I got 95 holes done out of my 200 goals, so another 6 hours or so of drilling, and I'll have all those holes. Now, it would go a lot quicker if I had some down pressure on my 3-point, which I don't. So if I were to put a little extra weight on the back there, it would probably actually go a little quicker than it is, but I'm happy with its speed and its progress, its consistency. And it's just been a really good tractor in the past, and I know it will be in the future. So I'm going to keep working on it. I'll put the panels on, fix the steering, give it that oil change, and I'll probably even shine it up a little bit. And then it'll probably just be in our garage most of the time. So with that, I appreciate you guys following along. This is part 3, so if you haven't seen parts 1 or 2, make sure to check those out and be on the lookout for a part 4 of this tractor series, as well as the other videos we've got coming out. A lot to see on this homestead in the spring. If you watch and follow along, subscribe, you'll get to see what goes in these holes next week. So pay attention to that, and we'll catch you on the next one. God bless.